to my studio. I hope everyone is having a really great start to this new year. And I wanted to take you on a little crafting journey with me of making a true junk journal. This will be a cohesive design. It will be made from common things that we normally toss out into the trash or into recycling. Most things you can find around your house, or at least a substitute for. And I'm doing this in conjunction with Dear Julie's January Junk Journal Challenge 2. She did this last year and I participated and did a journal, and I'm still working in it, and I love that journal, and I thought it would be fun to do it again. And it's for a twofold thing. So often I hear people say, journaling, that's expensive, the supplies are expensive, or I don't have this or don't have that. So I want to show you how you can do this on a really low budget, and that you can make something very beautiful out of very common ordinary items. So this is take 2, because all this that I've already done, I had taped this. The SD card evidently went bad in the middle of taping, and it said it lost all my data. Did I want to recover it? Yes, I want to recover it. Sorry, unrecoverable. Fought it. Finally just got a new SD card, gonna start all over. So I don't have a pile of all these supplies that I use because I've used them. However, I did take photos of them. So I'm going to pause for a second and insert a little slideshow here to show you the kind of items that I collected. And also I'm going to link a list of supplies in the drop-down box. So these are some of the items that I'm going to be using in this journal. Okay, as you can see, there were packaging and you know, just a variety of little items that you can find around your house. Now, I'm going to try to demo these each step, but I may demo it smaller, but I will tell you what size this journal is. We're going to start with the cover. This was an 8.5 ounce box of crackers. Just a little, you know, box about like that. I cut the box down. I think I did 5 inches. Yeah, I did 5 inches by 5 inches. So this is going to be a 5 by 5 journal when we're done. I'm going to demo how I did that cover with this small little cereal box, okay? So what I want you to do is find that little seam. You know, obviously open the top and the bottom of the box. Find that little seam where it's glued together, where the box is, and just take that apart. Then we're going to clip off this little tab here, and we'll clip off all these top things here, all these long pieces. Now you can save those if you want to make tabs and different things. Those are perfectly usable pieces. Can be covered to use for other things. Now, you want to make sure that you have a front, a big flap, a small flap, and a small flap. Cut off the second flap, the one that's on the end. Cut that off. Okay. And now you have an instant cover. Want to reinforce this spine right here. Get rid of all these out of the way. So, and I'm going to use this probably with the cardboard side out like this. And I'll probably cover the inside. So I'm going to glue this down in here on top of that middle section, just to give it a little more strength. So just going to use, I'm using some tacky glue. You know, use your favorite adhesive, whatever it is. You can use the double stick tape, or, you know, whatever, you know, is your favorite. If all you have is Elmer's glue, by all means, use Elmer's glue. You know, don't make this, you know, a horribly expensive, you know, thing that you need to do. So I just want to make sure that that's kind of down really well. Hold that for a second and flip it over. Kind of gush out any glue. And we have an instant cover. You can use a bone folder or a spoon, but I'm going to use the handle of my scissors to reinforce that fold. Because like I said, I'm going to try to walk you through this without it being a, you know what, that's got a little bit of a, I cut that just slightly crooked. Let me bend this back. There's a little bit of a crooked piece there, and it's going to make that not open and close right. That was a good thing I did that, so I know now that that's going to make sure it's going to fit on the other side. Actually, I think I need to trim it down a little bit on both sides, because I don't want that to catch and not close right. And I'll just put this one aside for another journal, because basically that's all I did on that one. Okay, there we go. Now you have a cover. Okay, and that's what I did on this one. I cut my box down to 5 by 5, and I glued the piece on the middle here, and I need to fold it this way because I'll cover those inside pieces with something, and I kind of want some of the cardboard stuff to show. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do, just put that aside. We don't need that anymore. The next thing we're going to do is work on these little cardboard pieces, and I used 2 tissue boxes to make these. So I'm going to show you what I did. I took just your standard square tissue box, and you're going to open it at all the places that the box is glued together. Just gently open it. Now, it's up to you if you have coordinating boxes or matching boxes. You may want to use the print side out. I had weird boxes that didn't match, so I'm choosing to use the cardboard side out that I've just washed over with a little bit of paint. So, and you can, you know, you can choose that. Now, if you want to paint over this, this is shiny. You really need to take some sandpaper and sand it a little bit to give it some tooth, or the paint will just scratch right back off, because the outside of this box is slightly waxed, and it's just not going to hold your paint. Where's, oh, there's, they're so weird. You know, I've got the box flat. Now I want to take it all the way apart like this. If I can get it all the way apart like that. It's leaving a lot of cardboard. Okay. That's okay. I'll try to, I don't know if I can glue stick that down or not. I didn't really want that to rip off, but hey, you know, it is what it is. This is a junk journal. It might get a little junky. That's okay. Okay, I can deal with that. Let me get that little piece there. Get that to go down. Maybe pull this piece out here. That doesn't even need to be on there. Anything that's loose that you can, go ahead and, you know, get those little extras off of there. Any of these little extra cardboard things where the glue was on your, you know, anything that's loose, you want to pull that off. finger. And you also want to take away this plastic that's in here. Just get rid of that. Okay. Now, if you're going to, I used a whitewash sort of method on this, and I just took some plain white acrylic paint and a paintbrush, and I just put a little bit on my brush. If I can open it, there it goes. I just put a little bit on my brush and just kind of stroked around on here. Not in any, you know, not even really dry brushing, just kind of, you know, just to give it a little texture and pattern. And this is going to dry in pretty quick because it soaks into that cardboard. So you can just kind of swish here and there. If you want to get your brush wet, you can. I'm not going to. I'm just going to swish it around. I just want a little bit for more, I guess it's really more for pattern than anything, since I'm not going to be using a lot of, I'm going to kind of go over that number there. I don't really want a lot on that. And this isn't really even dry brushing. This is just smushing. I'm just smushing paint on here. Just different strokes, different directions, rubbing, you know, the paint out of the brush. A little bit more there. A little bit more there. And this dries really quick because this raw cardboard just takes that paint. And like I said, if you want to do the print side, or you may just want to use the print side, but I would still sand it a little bit because it'd be hard for glue to stick to it. It just doesn't like that waxy kind of paper. Okay, that's about all I'm going to do. Just a little messy swish of paint. That's it. Now, I'm going to cut this box in half right here where there's 4 things. I'm going to cut it right down the middle. And I did this to 2 boxes. I used 2 boxes for my my book. I used 2 of these boxes. So far we've used a cracker box and 2 tissue boxes. And let's see, get that off there. Okay. Now, must have had a blob of paint right there. Trying to wipe that up so I don't blob myself too bad. Okay. Now on this one, I want to take my paint, or my paint. Make sure that's wiped off. I've got paint all over me now. Take my box. I'm going to flip it over. And I'm going to bend this back toward my opening there. And I'm going to bend this one back toward that opening. And I'm going to bend this one over the end. Okay? And I'm going to secure that fold with my scissors both ways. Okay? And I'm going to decide, I think I want this on the outside of this one, that this is going to be opening this way. So I think I'm going to put this pocket, let's see, do I want to put the pocket on that side or this side? Let's see. If this one's like this, then this one will be blank. Because I was trying to decide which one of these I want to cut off. Like this and this. Yeah, leave this one blank. I'm going to fold this one up to create a pocket on that side. And I'm going to cut this one off, but I'm going to retain it. Okay? It's just going to sit to the side. I'm going to save that piece. Okay? This is going to be your first, whoops, I folded it backwards. This is going to be my first signature. Now see how that side is too long? I want to trim that down to get it to approximately the same size. Now these are going to be slightly smaller than our papers that we put in there, but that's okay. So then I want to prep the other side of the box, and I'm going to fold this in. Where's my, I'm looking for my scissors, they're right there. Wow. I'm going to fold this in. And I think I'm going to let this one be solid on the outside. And I think I will go ahead and do pocket pocket and leave that one solid. So I'm going to fold that one up, and then since this is going to be my front, I'm going to cut this top one off, and I'm going to retain it. Just put it to the side. We don't need it right now. Okay. We're going to fold that one, and then sometimes these boxes don't want to fold like perfect, squared off. Just go with it because they're, you know, it's just hard to get them to do that. I'm going to, you know, trim that excess off. Okay. Now you have, this is going to be a tuck in here. This is going to be a pocket. Then we've got something we can do on the outside. Then you're going to have a window and a blank spot and a tuck. And you're going to have two of each of these if you use two boxes, okay? So I want you to create those. Then once we're done with this one I don't need to do anything else to right now. I'm just going to put a clip on it so I know that that's the edge that I'm, you know, binding, and this, you know, kind of helps me figure out which way's up if I look in there. Okay, this one now, we want to take an extra piece of some kind of box, like a cereal box, you know, a piece of packaging. Like, these were just some of those things that, you know, like you get stuff at the store, and it's got, that one's not big enough, but this one will be fine. Something that we can make the size of this square, which is basically this square right here. You just kind of have to hold it up to it. You can either hold it or trace around it, and cut yourself a square of some kind of, you know, like packaging that's like that, to make a backing in both of the areas where there's a hole. I'll get that flap out of the way. I'm not measuring or anything. I'm just, you know, so that we've got a piece of backing here. Okay. Then we're going to want something to make a window out of this. Now you can leave it open if you want to. I did not want to. I had some hard plastic. You also could use a piece of, this is some napkins came out of this. You can use cellophane type stuff. Whatever you have on this, let's see, where's the ones I made? On this one, this was a hard plastic like this, that's kind of like a, it was a packaging that I was wiring a lamp, and it came in a plastic thing, and so I was able to cut this rigid plastic. But if you don't have any, if you have some packaging, clear packaging, or a piece of acetate, or you know, something like that that's clear, you could cut that to fit in your window. So you're going to cut a piece of that also to fit in each of your windows here, like that. Okay, cut a piece that you can just glue around the edge. You don't need to cover the whole thing, just kind of around the edges. You may just take a marker and mark a little bit around there and cut that out. Okay, so you're going to need to cut that out where that you've got your pieces for assembling this. And that gets everything cut for that piece. My cardboard's a little out of, cut it down to make sure it folds in there right. So I don't want anything, there we go. Okay. So that one's prepped too. Once you've got your I didn't cut the plastic because I may use this for something else since I already have these to show you. That's all we're going to do to prep these 4 pieces. You should end up with, whoops, which ones are the ones that I just did? Okay, this is that one. These are these. Okay, you should end up with 2 with holes. Now I had 2 different kinds of tissue, so one of mine is oval and one of mine's round, and they're a little bit different size, but I'm okay with that. And this one got tore, so I taped it, but I'm gonna fix that too. So you should have 2 with the holes in it and 2 with the solid ones. So those are our first signatures to go in our book. We're just gonna stick those back here with the cover, and we're done with those for right now, and move on to the next thing of doing our filling out our signatures. Okay, so the first thing I wanted to do was to establish my signatures with my paper. So I don't have exactly what I used in the first video, so I'm just going to demo the best that I can. I have this book on trees that I have used some of it on other projects, and I had gone through this book, and I don't think there's any of them left. I think I've used all of them. Let me see. In the front and at the end of each chapter, the writing would stop, and there would be a blank space on the page. You know, like maybe, you know, here, like how that was blank, but it would be like half of a page. And I'm going to show you that here. Like this one on the back, it showed, you know, the planting zones. But then this page had a lot of white. This was part of the index, and, you know, that part was white. And same here, the other half of the map, and then this was white, you know, or blank. So what I did was I cut this paper down to 5 by, let me see, let's see, I did 5 by roughly 7.5, okay, and I did 9 pieces of this paper. I wanted 3 pieces of these. I'm going to do 3 paper signatures, so I did 9 pieces of 5 by 7.5 paper. I folded it and then used a decal scissor to decal the edge. You could also just put down a ruler, or you could leave it straight. You don't have to do any of the fancy cutting. So you're going to need 9 pieces of your book page paper or something, you know. So, you know, before you choose whatever kind of book you're going to use, old book, you know, try to find some, but don't worry about that, because let me show you something. Like on here, I didn't really worry about that because I can take some of that white paint. Let me grab my paintbrush again. I can take some of that same white acrylic paint, and on any of these, try to get the water out of my brush, any of these that have some writing on there, I can still make a journaling spot by putting a little bit of paint. And oh, let's do it on that side since we decided to paint ourselves and everything else. Just a light coat, just enough to, see if I can dab some of this paint up. Don't do it real thick. You just want to hide that. Now, I would do this all later. I would not do this in the front end of this process, because then you have to wait for this to dry, unless you're going to do your pages. But you can take just a little bit of the white paint, and you can even water it down if you want to, and dull that down to where it looks more like a background, and then you can write over it without it being intrusive, because it's so, the lettering is so black, okay? So prepare 9 pieces of paper. Even if it's a book page that's written on, just take your, don't do it real heavy. You don't want a real heavy plastic top coat there. Just do a light coat, almost like a wash, Okay, so any of your pages that are like that, you can go ahead and prep. So we're going to have 9 of these, and I'm going to go back and do all my prepping at one time. I'm not going to do that right now. I want to just get the base of the journal done. So I'm going to put those aside. So I would use my book pages for that. Then we're going to need 3 envelopes. You can use any size you want to. I happen to have a couple of, these are just the junk mail, you know, return envelopes. I had a couple of those, and then I had one that was like from a hotel or something. So you're going to need some junk mail envelopes. We want to make sure that everything is sealed up on here. Any of these little loose edges, you know, be sure you glue those down. Anything that's loose under that flap, if it's not secured, secure it down. Okay. Now I'm going to ink my edges, so I want to decal the edges on this. So I'm just using my decal scissors, and I'm going to cut across the top of my envelopes. And I'm doing 3 of these. Okay. And then I'm just going to simply fold it in half. And you might want to pay attention to where these windows are. This was not a good envelope to use for this, but it's the one I had. Like, this one's better. The window is more over to the side, and then the other side is plain. And this will be a part of your signature, and once it's in, it'll be pockets, a little top pocket. And that one's loose. Need to glue that down. So you're going to do 3 of those. And my apologies for not doing all this. Well, I did do it on camera. It just didn't tape. So I'm, like I said, I'm kind of breezing through it, but you will have a complete list of everything you need for this below. So do 3 of these. Then I had 2 different kinds of paper bags. I had a bakery bag that was white, like this. And I had a pharmacy bag, only it was a wide pharmacy bag. It wasn't skinny like this one. But I'm going to demo what I did with the bags anyway, okay? See, this was how wide this bag was. But I'm going to go ahead and demo on this one. So the first bag, what I did was I I just folded this little thing down at the bottom and cut that off. Just cut the whole bottom of the bag off. Okay? And just discard that, unless you want to keep it. We might use it. Don't like throw it away, just put it away. Okay. And then what I did was I took the bakery bag and took the scissors, and on both sides I deckled both ends of the bag, just, you know, across there. And then I folded the bag in half. This is going to go into a signature. You're going to want 1 of these, like a you could use 3 of these or 3 of this. I'm just going to show you 2 different bags. This one will be a side tucking bag, okay? So if you just want to do 3 of those, you can do 3 of those, or you can do it this way. What I did on this bag was to cut it off right below that where it says pharmacy, and I cut it right above that because I don't want that. I don't want to use that part. Okay, so then I'm going to decal this edge of the bag, and again, this one, like this one, which I didn't decal the edge of it. Let me do that. This is one I was actually using. Okay. And I just folded it in half so that you're still going to get that top pocket. Okay. And then I kind of measured this one. And this one's a little different because you notice it's open, and I still want it to be a, now this one I would have just folded in half, like this, okay? This one, I would cut it down to about the size of the other bag, somewhere about thereabouts. I would decal the edge. Then I would bring in where I had some extra pieces of the book page. I would bring that in, and I would cut a 2-inch strip of book page right here. I'm just going to kind of guesstimate. That's probably not quite, maybe 2 inches, I don't know. I'm going to guesstimate. And I would fold that in half. And just because I'm kind of liking that whole kind of decal look, I'm going to go ahead and decal this. And then this flat edge, I would put glue on this side and this side, wedge my bottom of my bag in there. You would ink it first if you're going to ink it, and then trim this off, and the bottom of the bag is sealed. Then you can fold it, and that can go inside your signature, just like that. Okay? And because I liked the bag, and I thought it would be good to add some strength, I might want to do that to this bag also, but I might want to add it in the middle. Like I might want to go down the spine of it. So I'm going to cut this page away here. Let's get it somewhat straight. And I'm going to cut it away right here. Okay. And I'm going to fold it in half. You can use a score board if you need to, or whatever. I just kind of eyeball and go with it. Okay. And just to give that a little strength, I'm going to put it on the edge of my bag. I'm just going to glue it to the outsides. I'm not going to worry about that inside one. I'm just going to glue it on the outside. And I'll glue these down in just a minute. Let me get them cut so that all my bags have a little decorative detail. And this one, because it has this on the bottom, I don't really want to see that. So I'm going to, again, do a good, well, I might have to get a book page out of there, I guess. Okay, I don't think I have one that's wide enough to cover that whole thing. Let's pull out a book page. Okay, I had some little extra pieces, but I've kind of used them. Let me see, let me find one I like. And I like the way the writing is. Okay, I like that that's just all writing. Let's take that one. And I'm gonna go along here. And is that gonna be like, yeah. Let's see about how far down I need to cut. Do this one a little wider since I'm gonna decal the edge a little bit. Fold that one in half. Let me widen out a little bit. I don't know if I'm in frame or out of frame or what. I wish there was a monitor down here for me to look in instead of up there, because I forget to look up. And hopefully I cut that wide enough to cover that blue paper, that blue name. Yes, I did. Okay. So, and I'm just going to trim that down. And that just gives me a little added detail, not anything fancy. Okay, so that gives me, I've got 3 bags now, that one of each of these will go into a signature. And I'm not going to glue that quite yet. I'm going to wait till we get to that part because I'm going to do some inking and I don't want to ink anything yet. You know, I want to keep going on the part I'm working on. So let's just stop right there at all those pages, get everything prepped, and I will see you in the next video. And thanks for joining me, and I'll see you